Welcome to our channel, Story and Me. Let's begin with today's story. Maria sat on the weathered bench outside St. Augustine's hospital, her fingers tracing the edges of a faded photograph. The image depicted two identical newborns, swaddled in hospital blankets, her twin sons, Samuel and Elias. It had been 25 years since that fateful night, when they were lost to her, taken by an unspeakable tragedy. The hospital had called it an accident, a fire that led to a mix-up in the nursery. But Maria never believed it. The memories were as vivid as the ache in her heart. She had gone into labor alone, excitement and fear intertwining. As she was wheeled into the delivery rooms, the pain was unbearable, and she lost consciousness before she could hold them. When she awoke, the world had shifted. A nurse stood by her bedside, her face pale and full of hesitation. "I'm sorry, ma'am," she had whispered. "There was an incident." Those words had shattered Maria's reality. The hospital claimed the fire had caused a misidentification, that her babies were lost in the chaos. But deep inside, she knew. For years, Maria had lived in the shadow of that night, refusing to accept the narrative given to her. The grief had settled deep in her bones, but she had never let go of hope. She spent decades searching, placing ads in newspapers, pleading with authorities, and scanning every face that passed her. St. Augustine's Hospital had become her second home. Every evening, she returned to this very bench, watching, waiting, praying that one day her sons would return. It was a ritual born of desperation, yet one she could never abandon. Her heart refused to give up. People pitied her, whispering as they passed by. Hospital staff had long grown used to her presence, offering small, sympathetic smiles, but never real answers. Even after all these years, Maria still demanded the truth. She had exhausted social media, forums, missing persons reports, anything that might bring her closer to them. She knew that if they were alive, they had no idea she was searching. The thought crushed her. What had they been told? Had they grown up believing they were abandoned? She closed her eyes against the pain, gripping the photograph tighter. Then, a voice called out, "Ma'am, are you okay?" Maria looked up, startled. A young man stood before her, concern in his deep brown eyes. Something about him sent a shiver down her spine. His face, so achingly familiar, made her breath hitch. His dark curls, his strong jawline. It was like staring into the past. Her heart pounded as she tried to find her voice. "What's your name?" she managed to whisper. He hesitated, as if wary of her reaction. "Daniel," he finally said. Maria's hands trembled. Do you know where you were born?" His brows furrowed. "I was adopted," he said. Maria's pulse quickened. "Do you know anything about your birth family?" Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "Not much. My parents told me my adoption was complicated. There was a fire at the hospital where I was born. Records were lost. I've been searching for answers." Maria's breath hitched. This wasn't coincidence. This was fate. "I had twin boys," she said, her voice breaking. "They disappeared from this hospital 25 years ago." Daniel's face paled. He sat beside her slowly, as if his legs had given out. "I have a twin brother," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Maria's heart clenched. "Where is he?" Daniel swallowed hard. "We were separated during adoption. I've been looking for him too." Tears welled in Maria's eyes. She reached out, her fingers trembling as they touched Daniel's hand. "I never stopped looking for both of you," she whispered. The weight of their shared pain hung between them. Maria's mind raced with possibilities. If Daniel was her son, then Elias, Samuel, was out there too. "Do you have anything?" she asked desperately. "Any lead?" Daniel hesitated, then pulled out his phone. I think I might." He scrolled through his photos, his fingers shaking. "This is my brother, Ethan," he murmured. Maria's breath caught in her throat. The man in the photo, he was Daniel's mirror image, her son. "Elias?" she whispered, barely daring to believe it. Daniel looked up, his expression torn between hope and disbelief. "His name is Ethan." Daniel nodded and made the call. Maria clutched the bench, her heart hammering as the phone rang. After what felt like an eternity, a deep voice answered. "Daniel? What's going on?" Maria closed her eyes, memorizing the sound of his voice. "Ethan," Daniel said, his voice thick. "I found her. Our mother." Silence stretched between them. Then a sharp inhale. "What?" Ethan sounded unsteady. "Are you sure?" Daniel turned to Maria. "Do you want to talk to him?" She reached for the phone with trembling hands. "Elias," she whispered. A choked sob came from the other end. "Mom?" Maria's breath caught. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "My son," she whispered, gripping the phone. "I never stopped looking for you." Elias's voice cracked. "They told us we were abandoned, that nobody was looking." Maria shook her head, though he couldn't see her. "Never," she said firmly. "I have spent every day searching for you. You were never abandoned." Another sob. "I need to see you," Elias said. Maria's heart swelled. "Come home, my love." There was no hesitation. "I'm coming." For the first time in 25 years, Maria let herself believe. Her sons were finally coming home. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions for Maria. She prepared her modest home for the arrival of her sons, ensuring every detail was perfect. She cooked their favorite meals, even though she didn't know what they liked. It was a way to channel her nervous energy. Daniel visited daily, sharing stories of his life, his adoptive family, and his journey to find Ethan. Each story was a precious glimpse into the years she had missed. They laughed and cried together, bridging the gap that time had created. Finally, the day arrived. Maria stood at the airport terminal, her heart pounding in her chest. Passengers disembarked, and then she saw him. Ethan stood tall, his eyes scanning the crowd until they locked onto hers. Time seemed to stand still as they took tentative steps toward each other. Then, without warning, they closed the distance, embracing tightly. "Mom," Ethan whispered, his voice filled with emotion. "My boy," Maria replied, tears streaming down her face. Daniel joined the embrace, and for the first time in a quarter century, Maria felt whole. The reunion was bittersweet. As joy filled Maria's heart, questions loomed about the past. Ethan shared his experiences, revealing that he had been told he was abandoned at birth. The revelation was a dagger to Maria's heart, but she remained resolute in uncovering the truth. Together, they decided to investigate the circumstances surrounding their separation. They visited St. Augustine's hospital, seeking answers from old records and staff. Their persistence led them to a retired nurse who had been present during the fire. The nurse, Ms. Thompson, was hesitant at first, but eventually agreed to meet them. Her hands trembled as she recounted the events of that night. "There was chaos," she began. "The fire spread quickly, And in the confusion, babies were moved without proper documentation. She paused, tears welling in her eyes. I always suspected that some infants were misplaced, but the hospital wanted to avoid scandal. Her confession confirmed Maria's suspicions and fueled their determination to uncover the full truth. With Miss Thompson's testimony, they approached legal authorities to reopen the case. The process was arduous, filled with bureaucratic red tape, but their unwavering resolve garnered media attention. News outlets picked up their story, shedding light on potential malpractices at the hospital during that period. Other families came forward, sharing similar stories of lost children and unresolved mysteries. A class action lawsuit was filed against St. Augustine's, demanding justice for the affected families. As the investigation progressed, it became evident that the fire had been a cover-up for a baby trafficking ring operating within the hospital. Corrupt staff members had orchestrated the abduction and illegal adoption of newborns, falsifying records to hide their crimes. The revelation was both shocking and devastating. Maria's heart ached for the years lost, but she found solace in knowing the truth was finally emerging. Her relentless pursuit had not been in vain. The legal battle culminated in a landmark trial. Former hospital administrators and staff were brought to justice, facing charges ranging from negligence to human trafficking. The courtroom was filled with families seeking closure, each story a testament to resilience and hope. Maria testified, her voice unwavering, as she recounted her decades-long search for her sons. Her testimony was a pivotal moment, highlighting the profound impact of the hospital's corruption on countless lives. As the trial concluded, the court ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, acknowledging the grievous wrongs committed by St. Augustine's Hospital. Substantial compensations were awarded to the affected families, and the hospital's license was revoked. While no amount of restitution could return the lost years, the verdict provided a sense of justice and closure. Maria, Daniel, and Ethan stood together outside the courthouse, a united front against the injustices of the past. The media buzzed around them, but they remained focused on their newfound bond, determined to build a future together. With the legal battles behind them, the family turned their attention to healing and reconnecting. They embarked on a journey to rediscover their shared heritage, visiting places significant to Maria's past. She took them to her childhood home, introducing them to relatives who had longed for their return. Each visit was a step toward mending the fragmented pieces of their family history. Daniel and Ethan embraced these experiences, eager to learn about their roots and the culture that had been absent from their lives. As they delved deeper into their shared history, Maria introduced her sons to traditions she had cherished. They celebrated holidays together, cooked family recipes, and listened to stories of their ancestors. These moments fostered a sense of belonging and identity, filling the void left by years of separation. Daniel and Ethan found comfort in these rituals, recognizing pieces of themselves in the customs and tales Maria shared. The bonds between them strengthened, weaving a tapestry of love and resilience. Despite the joy of reunion, challenges emerged as they navigated their new relationships. Differences in upbringing and life experiences led to misunderstandings and conflicts. Daniel and Ethan grappled with balancing their adoptive family's influences with their biological heritage. Maria faced the delicate task of honoring their pasts while nurturing their present connection. Through open communication and patience, they addressed these issues, acknowledging that healing was an ongoing process, requiring effort and empathy from all sides. To further solidify their bond, the family sought counseling, attending therapy sessions together. These meetings provided a safe space to express feelings, confront past traumas, and set expectations for their future. The guidance of a professional helped them navigate complex emotions, fostering understanding and acceptance. They learned to appreciate each other's perspectives, building a foundation of trust and support. This commitment to collective healing underscored their dedication to forging a unified family identity. As time passed, Daniel and Ethan integrated into Maria's community, forming relationships with extended family and friends. They participated in local events, volunteered together, and established traditions of their own. These activities enriched their lives, creating new memories that honored their shared journey. The community embraced them, celebrating the family's resilience and the power of reunion. Maria's home became a gathering place filled with laughter, love, and the vibrant energy of reconnection. Inspired by their experiences, Maria and her sons became advocates for others affected by similar injustices. They collaborated with organizations supporting families separated by adoption fraud, sharing their story to raise awareness and promote change. Their advocacy efforts led to speaking engagements where they highlighted the importance of ethical practices in adoption and the need for systemic reforms. Through their activism, they transformed personal pain into a force for social good, offering hope and guidance to others navigating similar paths. Ethan, drawing from his background in law, spearheaded initiatives to tighten regulations on adoption agencies. He worked closely with policymakers to draft legislation aimed at preventing future occurrences of adoption fraud. His dedication to justice and accountability became a driving force in his career, reflecting his commitment to protecting vulnerable families. Daniel utilized his skills in media to document their journey, creating a documentary that shed light on their story and the broader implications of unethical adoption practices. The documentary garnered international attention, sparking conversations about adoption ethics and the long-term effects of family separation. Audiences resonated with their story, leading to increased support for policy changes and funding for affected families. Maria's eloquence and authenticity during interviews captivated viewers, humanizing the statistics and emphasizing the profound emotional impact of such experiences. Their collective efforts contributed to a cultural shift toward transparency and integrity within the adoption system. Through their advocacy, they connected with other families who had endured similar ordeals. These connections fostered a supportive network, providing solace and understanding to those grappling with the aftermath of adoption fraud. Maria's home became a sanctuary for healing, where stories were shared and burdens lightened. The family's openness and compassion created a ripple effect, inspiring others to seek truth and reconciliation. Their journey illuminated the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of love and perseverance. As the years unfolded, Maria witnessed her sons flourish in their personal and professional lives. Daniel pursued a career in journalism, using his platform to advocate for social justice issues. Ethan established a legal practice, specializing in family law, dedicating his expertise to protecting the rights of children and parents. Their achievements were a testament to their resilience and the unwavering support they received from their mother. Maria's heart swelled with pride, knowing that their bond had not only survived, but thrived amidst adversity. In quiet moments, Maria reflected on the journey that had brought them together. The years of longing and uncertainty had given way to a profound connection that transcended time and circumstance. She cherished the laughter that now filled her home, the shared meals, and the simple joys of togetherness. The scars of the past remained, but they were softened by the love that now enveloped their family. Maria found solace in the knowledge that hope and perseverance had led to this beautiful reunion. As time passed, the family continued to honor their journey by supporting others facing similar challenges. They established a foundation dedicated to reuniting families separated by unjust circumstances, providing resources and support to those in need. Their story became a beacon of hope, illustrating the power of love and determination. Maria, Daniel, and Ethan spoke at events, sharing their experiences to inspire and encourage others. Their commitment to making a difference ensured that their legacy would be one of compassion and resilience. In their advocacy work, they encountered numerous families with stories of loss and reunion. Each narrative reinforced the importance of their mission and deepened their resolve to effect change. They collaborated with lawmakers to strengthen regulations surrounding adoption and hospital protocols, aiming to prevent future tragedies like their own. Through these efforts, they transformed their pain into purpose, creating a safer and more just system for future generations. Maria's health began to wane as she entered her later years, but her spirit remained indomitable. She found joy in watching her sons build their own families, becoming a beloved grandmother. The laughter of grandchildren filled her home, a testament to the enduring power of love and family. Maria's journey from loss to fulfillment served as an inspiration to all who knew her, embodying the strength of the human spirit and the unbreakable bond between a mother and her children. Surrounded by her loved ones, Maria reflected on her life's journey with a heart full of gratitude. The pain of the past had been transformed into a legacy of hope and unity. Her sons, once lost to her, had become pillars of strength and compassion, carrying forward the lessons learned from their shared experiences. Maria's story was a testament to the enduring power of a mother's love, a force capable of overcoming even the most insurmountable obstacles. As Maria's time drew to a close, she imparted her wisdom to her family, emphasizing the importance of love, perseverance, and faith. Her final days were filled with peace, knowing that her sons were united and that their family bond was unbreakable. Maria passed away, surrounded by those she loved, leaving behind a legacy of resilience and the profound truth that love can transcend time, distance, and adversity. In the years following Maria's passing, Daniel and Ethan continued their mother's mission, expanding the foundation and reaching countless families in need. They honored her memory by living lives rooted in the values she had instilled in them. The story of their reunion became a symbol of hope worldwide, inspiring others to hold on to faith and fight for justice. Maria's spirit lived on through her sons and the countless lives they touched, a testament to the enduring power of a mother's love. The foundation established in Maria's honor flourished, becoming a leading organization in advocating for ethical practices in adoption, and child welfare. Daniel and Ethan's dedication attracted like-minded individuals, and together they influenced policy changes and provided support to families affected by similar injustices. Their work ensured that Maria's legacy continued to make a positive impact, transforming pain into purpose and creating a brighter future for countless children and parents. In the twilight of their lives, Daniel and Ethan reflected on the extraordinary path they had walked. From a tragic separation to a triumphant reunion, their story had come full circle. They found comfort in knowing that their mother's unwavering love had been the guiding force that led them home. As they gazed upon their families, they understood that Maria's legacy was not just in the work they had accomplished, but in the love that bound them all together. A love that had endured, healed, and flourished against all odds. Thank you for listening to the entire story. Please comment and let me know which part of the world are you listening from. Share the video and subscribe to my channel